Welcome back to Spellbound. I'm BJ the Book Witch, and this is my January 2022 wrap-up and giveaway featuring a Fairy Loot special edition. So 2022 is off to a pretty decent start. I read 8 books this month. My Goodreads goal for this year is 100, which averages to about 9 books per month, so not quite where I want to be just yet. I read 2,690 pages, averaging to about 87 pages per day. Again, not quite where I want to be, which is about 100 pages per day, but that's alright. I still have 11 more months to read a ton of great books, starting next month. So a few things. First, I don't plan to make any TBR videos this year because I think that just adds a little too much pressure to my plate. That being said, I am going to push myself a little bit next month and officially participate in my first ever readathon. And that's going to be Polarthon over at JD Ray Reads. I'll be reading for Team Explorers and I already have my books picked out. So my February is already shaping up to be a whole lot of icy wintry vibes and some lighthearted romances for Valentine's Day. And for more details, you'll just have to wait and see my February wrap-up. So, back to January. For this wrap-up, I'm not going to go in chronological or genre order. I'm going to start with my lowest rating and then get to my 5-star review. So here we go. Football Dick. Hear me out. I've been watching a lot of booktubers lately, and one that I really enjoy specifically likes sports romances. And when I first saw that, I was like, what? No way that's a thing. Turns out it is. There's a whole subgenre of sports romances. They're mainly contemporary, so but if my frustration is that there's usually not a whole lot of plot surrounding the romance, then I figured maybe the sports drama will give something to anchor it, right? Alright, now in hindsight, I can see how that was faulty logic. However, at the time, I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, so I went with a tried and true and Violet Blaze with Football Dick, and it turned out about as you'd expect. 2 stars. This girl whose dad owns a football team wins a date with the star quarterback. They have intercourse at some point, which I'm assuming results in an infant, but I'll be honest, I didn't stick around long enough to find out. Now, typically a DNF would sort of require a 1 star, right? But I didn't think that this book was so bad that others couldn't enjoy it. I just really didn't. Inked by Violet Blaze. This is a contemporary romance about a girl who falls for her much older stepbrother, whose core personality feature is that he is a tattoo artist. 2 stars. This is, I don't know, a few hundred pages of absolute ring around the rosy, will they, won't they kind of angst. They have the same conversation in every chapter, sometimes twice. Oh my god, I'm so into you. I've been into you since I was small. And he's all like, well, that wasn't because I was so much older and that would have been super weird. But we can never be together except parents are married. And so then they both try and date other people for a while, and then that gets sabotaged by the other person who comes in and is all, we're still meant to be together, but we must never be. So picture that conversation, but in the living room, the kitchen, a friend's house, the tattoo parlor, the car, and the parents' house, and there you go. You've experienced the book. Neon Gods by Katee Robert. This is a contemporary retelling of Hades and Persephone set in a city that kind of feels like New York. And it's Katee Robert, so you know that there's going to be some BDSM in there somewhere. 2.5 stars. So this one had about a 0.5 stars amount of plot, more than Inked. There's some political drama involving the Greek gods who have positions of power in title only. Like you can take up the title of Zeus or the title of Hades or whatever. And while this ultimately drove the plot, it did not keep my interest. And I'll be honest, I do not understand Book Talk's fascination with this book or with Katee Robert. It's like they've never read smut before. Because once you get past like the giggles and blushes of the BDSM kink, there's not a lot of substance here. Alright, let's get out of romance. Magic, Dark and Strange by Kelly Powell. Catherine Daly can raise people from the dead. When she accidentally resurrects a young boy from an unmarked grave, she is thrust into a murder plot involving a mysterious timepiece. 3 stars. So this book had all the right elements and perhaps the right plot points, but there were several things not working in this book's favor. First of all, this book feels like an extended novella as opposed to a short novel, clocking in at just about 200 pages. A novella is characterized by a lack of subplot and minimal character development, which is exactly what this book was. The characters had opportunity for development. There were supporting characters, but they were literally only present in 2 scenes and for the sole purpose of exposition. And there was Minimal backstory provided on the protagonist with her family back home that she writes to, but because of the third-person limited narration, we aren't able to capture her feelings or emotions and therefore make any kind of connection with the protagonist. Additionally, this book is committed to its singular plotline with militaristic precision, as in, it reads mechanically, with very little intensity or suspense. She went here, she did this, they said this, they went there, she did this. Kind of like that. And finally, there was not a lot of color. There was some description, but it felt mechanical as well. The sky was this, the arrangement of the furniture was that, this happened, that happened. The lack of connection to the protagonist combined with the laser focus on the location-based sleuthing made this book a miss for me. The Bright and the Pale by Jessica Rubinkowski. Valeria takes a group of travelers into the depths of a mysterious mountain near her home. 3.5 stars. This book had all of those icy, wintry adventure vibes. Honestly, if you're looking for a polar fantasy for Polarthon, this is it. The world and setup was very interesting. Unfortunately, the plot of the book wasn't dedicated to it. In fact, it's difficult to say what exactly this plot was dedicated to since most of the main plot points happened off-screen. The main character's source of tension through this entire book is not the mega sudden freeze curse that came by and wiped out her entire family, hometown, and village, of which she is the sole survivor. It's not the concentration camp style execution of individuals from her hometown because of the freeze, and it's not even the Elsa-like whispers of the Magic Mountain itself. Nah, it's about a dude. Of course it's about a dude. It's another will they won't they struggle where she literally has the same conversation 4 or 5 times. He's like, yo, remember how you thought it was dead for a year? Turns out that was all a setup and the person you're working for shouldn't be trusted. And she's like, what are you talking about? I loved you. And then she leaves and then they go to another icy chamber and she's like, oh my god, he's so handsome, but can I trust him? I don't know, a few pages ago you literally told us that he was in fact the only person in the entire world that you could trust because you grew up together until you thought he died. Look, I couldn't reason with the protagonist, but maybe you can. This book has all of the ingredients for a really fantastic and epic feeling journey. It just didn't work out for me. The world building is pretty cool, and it's a place you want to explore, so for that reason I do recommend it, and that's why I'm awaiting the sequel, Wrath and Mercy. The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. Rowan takes a job as a live-in nanny in a haunted, secluded, smart home in Scotland. 4 stars. This book had a slow build with all of the classic haunted house tropes. Ruth Ware definitely knows how to write suspense. The ending crescendoed into not one but 2 completely unexpected plot points that could either have been seen as so crazy and unexpected, holy cow, this was incredible, or in fact so unexpected that they felt a little jarring and somewhat hastily executed. Either one. The book itself was a fantastic suspense, but there are 2 main reasons that this was not a 5-star for me. First of all, the ending. Now, I'm no spoil sport, so I'm not going to ruin it for you, but basically the final plot twist has you going, what? Oh my god! Except when you think about it for more than like 2 minutes, you're like, but wait, that doesn't justify the entire premise of the book though. And the second was the plot holes. This book teeters between being a haunted house and being a smart home and being spied upon with cameras in every room. And while Ware chooses one direction to take the ending, she doesn't explain all of the other things. Meaning she has you questioning the entire time whether the house is haunted by legit ghosts or by people via technology. Ware chooses a path and answers that question, but the path that she chooses legitimately does not account for everything in the book. So there are questions left unanswered and events left unexplained by the method she chose. I'll leave it at that. Too Fat, Too Slutty, Too Loud. The Rise and Reign of the Unruly Woman by Helen Petersen. Petersen examines a host of women who demonstrate unruliness in various categories across feminist discourse. This book is thoughtful, highlighting double standards and the incredible tightrope that a modern feminist woman must walk to be considered successful, marketable, or even likable. It's an interesting collection of essays, but it's important to note that she distills the women that she's examining down to a singular point that she's making about a topic. More specifically, Petersen chooses and discusses the topic and then uses a famous woman's depiction of that topic to illustrate her point. What this book isn't is a thorough examination of these women as multifaceted individuals. some who may deserve more grace and admiration, and some who may require more criticism and nuance. But if you know that going in, you may be less likely to be either defensive or combative, depending on your particular views of the women in this book. And finally, Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. Now, if you're a returning viewer, first of all, thank you. Second of all, you've probably heard me mention this in just about every video that I've made since I read it. Spoiler, this book is amazing. Vanja is a liar, a thief, and an imposter, posing as a princess. When she upsets a local god, she is cursed to give back what was lost before her next birthday, or she will be consumed by her greed, turning into a pile of rubies and diamonds. When the first rubies start to appear on her skin, Vanja will do whatever it takes to avoid calling on the help of her godparents, Death and Fortune. 5 stars. More if I could. This retelling of the fairy tale The Goose Girl is a millennial powerhouse of a story. With themes of class disparity, abuse, and radical autonomy, this book transcends the original fairy tale and puts into sharp relief the grit and tenacity of survival. In league with Dark and Deepest Red and The Deathless Girls, I would say that this is hands down the best retelling of a fairy tale that I've ever read. If you're looking for a YA fantasy that rises above the noise in plot, depth, and enjoyability, this is it. And now it is time for my favorite moment of the month, and that is my monthly giveaway. And this month, I'm giving away a special edition. Yep, so I've got the Fairy Loot Special Edition of Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. This is the sequel to Kingdom of the Wicked, which is about a girl whose twin sister is murdered. So she calls upon the help of a demon to solve her sister's murder. There is some romance and junk, but honestly, I think we're all in this one for the descriptions of the Sicilian food. Quality imagery. Anyway, this edition has black sprayed edges with a rose design on the side, a signed author nameplate, a foil embossed cover, and a designed reverse jacket with character art. Once again, these giveaways are just a way for me to connect with you, and I've been really excited for this book to come out, so I'm excited to share it with you. The giveaway itself will be over on Instagram, so all you have to do to enter is like and comment on the post that says giveaway. That's it. You don't even have to be following me, although let's be honest, it would be nice if you did, but you don't have to. Just like and comment a book that you're dying to read in February. The giveaway will be up for 1 week, and then I'll use my random name picker app to choose a winner. All right, so that's it from me. What did you read in January? And what do you think about the books that I mentioned in this video? And what book should I be sure to read in February? Let me know down below. And then if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you loved it, hit subscribe. And of course, there's always Instagram. Happy reading!